Welcome, Growth Tribe, fellow entrepreneurs, coffee shop owners, as well as Single Speed Coffee Cafe. My name is Benjamin Kepner of Global Social Media Marketing, and today we're going to be talking about how to do a Google Ads keyword planner research on finding out what types of keywords people are searching for on Google relative to your geographic location so that you can run Google Ads campaigns to rank at the top of search results. Now, this is something that there's multiple ways to do this, and there is a paralysis analysis. In today's example, we're going to be talking about a former client of ours who is Single Speed Coffee Cafe. They're based in Flagstaff, Arizona. And we recently did a keyword research analysis for them to help them get found with coffee shops near me when somebody is searching for in Flagstaff, Arizona. So I would keep in mind, people, that to do all the marketing things, first, I need to drink a little bit of the coffee. Meh, 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 meh. Anyways, so to start, I wanted to talk about the process in which we went through for Single Speed Coffee Cafe. So where we're going to start first is we're going to go to Google Ads, and we're going to click into Google Ads, and we'll sign in here, and we'll just choose a random account that we can sign into. Once we're in Google Ads, the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to go to Tools and Settings in the upper right-hand corner here, and then we're going to go to Keyword Planner. Now, this is the interface of the Keyword Planner where we can type in keywords and the volumes and forecasts. So I actually already have a spreadsheet here. The way that you want to start with doing a keyword analysis using the Google Keyword Planner is you want to use the different types of product and services that are going to be used. You can see for Single Speed here, right? We've got coffee shop near me, coffee shops near me. We've also got some of their different types of coffee, right? As far as products are concerned, they offer things such as espresso, nitro cold brew. They do some wholesale and some different blends. So I'm going to try to type in all of these different types of keywords. You can also see here I've listed some of their competitors that are based there locally within Flagstaff, and that will generate me some results. So let's say, for example, I wanted to use Fire Creek as an example, and I wanted to kind of start with my competitors, right? I could start here in the section that says discover new keywords. I would click on this, and then I would start with a website. I would plug in one of my competitors and then do get results. So specifically for your Google Keyword Planner, I would always recommend, if you are a national brand, to start wider with your sample size, right? The more targeted that you're going to get, the more localized that you're going to get. Generally, the rule of thumb is that you will pay a little bit more, right? There's more people competing for that. We'll get into exactly what that means here in a second. So if I'm in this case doing something for a local cafe in Flagstaff, I'm going to go ahead and type in Flagstaff, Arizona. In the top here, it will give me actually my reach of the location, right? So it's saying there's about 328,000 people based upon Google's data there. So I've changed that location now. I could also change the languages, right? I've just kept it for English. And then obviously the search network, I'm going to just keep as Google. All these other things would be other partners that Google use. I like to personally use Google. And then those will be your results, right? So this is going to shoot back to me some results on what people are searching for. Fire Creek Coffee, for example. I can see that there's 320 people a month that are searching for that. The first thing I want to do normally is I'm going to just kind of look at the average monthly searches. I'll always kind of just click at the top so I can see, all right, I can see that Flagstaff Coffee Shops is being searched 480 times within Flagstaff, Arizona's location in English on Google search, and it's got a low competition, right? So what does competition mean in the Google Ads Keyword Planner? Low competition means that there are not many advertisers that are actually advertising for that keyword. High competition would mean that there are multiple advertisers that are advertising for that keyword. And generally, the rule of thumb for that is because those are actual keywords that are producing return on investment or sales or transactions, right? So in this case, I know that Flagstaff Coffee Shop is being searched a lot, but it's not necessarily directly correlating to sales or e-commerce or things like that. If I saw something here on high, if I filtered it by this, right, medium would be maybe something, right? It's looking for best coffee Sedona. That makes a lot of sense, right? A lot of consumers will go search in search results the best of, the top of, and then they'll make a purchase after that, right? So when we're doing a keyword analysis, we want to kind of balance between these two, right? We want to always start with the monthly searches. That is going to tell us the search patterns that are going on in that geographic location for those product or service keywords or websites that we've plugged in. From there, we want to kind of target those high competition words, right? Most business owners are going to want to actually drive revenue, drive sales. So we want to make sure that we're competing that. So here's an example of how we would do this for a website. If we were looking at one of our competitors, we would then come up into the right-hand corner here, download those keywords, and then I would go back to my spreadsheet. I would, add that in there, right? So I've already got this loaded, but just to show you guys, if you're in Google Sheets, I would do File, and then I would do Import, and then I would upload, and then I could literally take that CSV file that I just downloaded, drag it and drop it, and then it's going to give me this option to say, where would you like to import this? I would like to import this to replace the current sheet, right? It's gonna replace this actual tab that I'm in. I've imported the data, and there it is, right? So first thing I like to do to kind of clean this up, right? I already know that I'm targeting Flagstaff, Arizona, so I know this is in US dollars. I'll delete that column. The next thing that it's going to do is sometimes it will give me the top of page or the low page bid. That means how much is it going to cost me at the high end of things and how much is it going to cost me at the low end of things. In this export, it didn't give me that. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all of these columns because I don't have any data there. And then you can see what it actually does too is it actually provides you with the monthly search, right? This could make a lot of sense for some of the retail brands out there. I know with the Christmas season, Halloween and Thanksgiving, all those holidays that are coming up, right? You're going to see increased search results during certain times of the year. We can see, specifically in this case for, Flagstaff, Arizona for coffee shops, we can kind of see actually that, the search traffic is very high in October, and then it kind of starts to descend, oddly enough, during November and December. That could probably be because, from a hypothesis on my end, maybe people are not going to the coffee shops as much. Maybe they're at home more, or maybe they're doing coffee delivery services, right, where they're having holiday parties and they're not getting out as much. And then you can kind of see here too at the beginning of the year, right, it kind of slows down, but then you've got, in this right here for Flagstaff coffee shops, it actually picks up again. So this is good if you're working with a seasonal type of product. I normally will delete this unless I know it's like a super huge seasonal product, right? So I'll just go ahead and delete all of these columns. And now I've got kind of like some numbers to work with, right? So from here, the way that I like to think about, finding the right balance is I will start with the average monthly searches first, right? Because I want to find the keywords that people are actually doing. I'll create a filter, and then I'll filter it down, by the searches. My recommendation in this case, this is a local company. You want to have in the thousands, but because this is so targeted, right? I might just kind of start with, the 480 and 320 just for an example for this video. So I'll unselect all those, right? And now I know that, for example, Fire Creek Coffee and, Flagstaff coffee shops, those are probably some good search terms. So what I like to do is I like to have a tab where I'm kind of going through this process, right? It's an iterative process of that I'm going to need to check different competitor websites. I'm going to need to use different keywords that are related to the product or services of the business that they offer. And then I kind of like to put them in like my primary keywords. My recommendation is that when you're going through this process for your company or your school, you really want to not go get hundreds of keywords, right? Maybe find like the top 10, and then you can kind of set up your ad campaigns around that. So you can kind of see how I've derived some of theirs. I've got a nice combination really of low and high, right? So for single speed coffee, for example, who's the client that we're talking about today, they really wanted to be able to have a local presence. If somebody was searching, in their coffee store or near their coffee store, if they search best coffee near me, that they would be found, right? So I can see, that 320 searches, it's working really well. from a high competition perspective, meaning that there's a lot of advertisers paying for that. I can see that the top of page low bid, the lowest amount I'm going to pay for that keyword is $1.64. And at the high end, for me to be the number one search result, I'm going to pay about $3.40. You can actually see in my analysis specifically for this client that some of these are blank, right? What that means is that if you're not getting a low bid or a high bid, that actually means that there's not a lot of advertisers out there that are advertising for that. So Google is not going to provide to me the data that it's going to cost me to rank at the top search results. So I'm going to have to kind of test those things and whatnot, right? So for example, if I went back to that Fire Creek, right, if I'm trying to add to this list and decipher, I'm going to look in here. Okay, I'm going to make sure I know that, Flagstaff coffee shops is 480 and low. I might look at my best primary keywords and see if that's there. So actually that's on my list, right? Great. And I can see, also I'm going to have a competition value, right? You can see that the competition value increases based upon the competition category, if it's high or low, right? Just meaning that it's going to be harder for me to compete. You can see with the Flagstaff coffee shops, right? There's 480 people that are searching for that per month, and it's very low competition. I don't have any bids. So that might be a really good opportunity for single speed coffee to pay very minimal money, right? Probably, in my experience with Google, anywhere from like 50 cents to $1.50 in that range, which would be great. Every time somebody's searching, maybe it's $1, they come in, they buy a nice cappuccino. It's $2.50. That's a great ROI for that business owner to pay $1 to get that person in and sell a coffee to them for $2.50. So really, this is an iterative process. I'll go back and forth, right, just to show you. To go back to an example, let's say I don't want to use another website or a competitor, and I actually want to start with keywords, right? So I would go back and I would type in some of those things. So maybe again, coffee shop near me. That's really good for location. Maybe I want to focus on the types of coffee that they sell, which is like nitro cold brew. And maybe I want to just search coffee shop Arizona and see what pops up, right? So normally I can plug in about 3 to 6 keywords. I'm going to type in get results, and then it's going to give me those results again, right? I've got Google, English, Flagstaff. Keep in mind too, these search results are for the last 12 months. I could do longer. Me personally, I think a year is good enough, right? That's a big enough of a sample size where I know that those search patterns year over year shouldn't change too much unless it's like an e-commerce product or a new startup or something like that. Maybe it will change. But in this case, right, coffee's been around for a long time. Those variations are probably not going to change too much year over year. So now you can see I've got, my results, right? I can see coffee near me, right? 880 searches with low competition. It doesn't even give me the range. So this might be another good opportunity. I can see all these different keywords. So again, the process that I would do is I would download that list. I like to download it into a CSV file. That makes it easier for me to work with Google Sheets. I'll come back and then I'll go in there and I will do file, import, and I will upload that file, drag and drop it, and replace the current sheet. You can see that I've already done it there. Again, as a reminder, what I like to do is I always like to start with the average monthly searches. I like to create a filter, and then I like to filter it down by, the ones that are being searched, right? So for example, I could clear all these and just focus on the 1900 and kind of look at that, right? So coffee shops, oddly enough, right? Not a very high competition there, probably because it's such a general word, right? Coffee shops. But what I can see is that there's 1,900 people in Flagstaff that are searching for that. So that's a really good opportunity for me of, wow, if I'm the number one advertiser there, maybe I get 1,000 people in my door within the next month if I'm able to capture that data, right? So I'd look at that. Low also is telling me I'm not going to spend a lot of money there, but maybe those are not going to be, dead on sales transactions, revenue generating types of keywords. So you kind of have to balance those. In this case, these are the ones that I derived, right? You can see I've got coffee shops on my list as well. You want to have a balance again, guys. Remember, Monthly searches is where you start because you want to understand how consumers are finding you. But then from there, you want to try to find a happy medium of having a few low ones where you're not going to pay a lot of money, but also having the high ones because you know that those are going to convert to sales. There's a reason why those advertisers are paying that money for that. And from there, it's really just kind of going back and forth, right? So I like to create different tabs for the different products or services with the different competitors. I'll get to this list, right? This primary keywords list after I've tried all the different product and services and all the different tabs in the research. And then from there, what I like to do is I like to create a Word document. In this Word document, I like to kind of use kind of the results, right? Where I'm showing, for example, that, the region of Flagstaff, there's 320, there's 328,000 people. I'll even start to kind of set up like an ad to give some estimates, right? If I used a $20 day budget to bid on all of those keywords, right? And then so from there, what I'm going to do is I'll normally paste in those keywords so that I'm doing it. And I'll actually then from there, I'll actually start taking the keywords and going into Google. I like to do this because what I'll do here is I'll do the autofill, right? Is where I'll come in. I'll have coffee shops. And then what this is doing is Google is providing me with other things that people are searching for, right? I'm based in Colorado, so it's giving me some other things related to Denver, Fort Collins, Boulder, but these are related searches. So I would add those. I would just come in and I would do a screenshot, right? I'd come in here, take a picture of that, and then come back to my document. And that's where you'll see this section, right? Where I like to give an autofill search, right? And so you'll see all the different variations. One thing to note again is that, I'm based in Colorado. So ideally, if I'm in Arizona, these will be better. There are some other creative workarounds on how you can do that, but I'm not going to get into that for today. So once I've kind of gotten some autofill search results, I'm going to go ahead and see what pops up, right? One thing to note here is I can kind of see if there's any ads, right, that are popping up at the beginning, and then see if there's any ads at the bottom. It doesn't look like there's anything running. You can see where I'm searching from. At the bottom of the page, it's going to give me searches related to coffee shops. These are things that other people are searching related to this. So I would also come in here and take a screenshot. I'll just go ahead and grab this, come down here, and then I'll put it in this section, right? So for this document, when I'm sending this over, I'll give a nice summary. I'll show a map. I'll show the primary keywords that I've selected, and then I'll start copying these and putting these into Google and providing the related searches as well as the autofill. And then what you can do is you can test some of these things, right? You can see that I even had some price ranges through another tool that I was using prior to this. And, that will kind of give me a really good understanding of what people are searching for. Another idea, if you want to take it to the next level, is you could always come into images, right, and see what's popping up there. That would be great. You can also do maps, right? I would love to see single speed on this front page, but they're not ranking for that. And then, I think looking at, other examples of, coffee shops that are using ads, right? So maybe let's say I share something like coffee. We'll see if there's any ads that are going to come up, right? I don't see on the first page. I might scroll on to the next page. Here we go. Boom. See how we see right here in Google at the top of search results, we know that somebody's paying for that Durango coffee. They've got their kind of description here, the finding 90 plus coffees. And then they've got these, we call these site links, right? Where they're actually linking to different sections on their website. So I might come in here, take a screenshot of this so that I can see what other competitors are doing. I would also scroll to the bottom so I can see these ads here at the bottom. Right now I've got a bunch. I've got Gourmet Coffee, Good Walk Coffee, Canva Coffee. So I'll come in here. I'll take these screenshots for those keywords that I've selected, and then I'll go back to my document and I'll go paste them in here, right, with all of these different variations. So I'll come in here, we'll do insert, image, upload from computer, and then I'll go look for my most recent screenshot there. Final thing that you could do as well, right? You could go look at the Google My Business. So let's say I want to go quickly look at single speed coffee Google My Business. And here we can see the business, right? It's got its popular times. It would be great if they had some questions and answers here. Maybe I use those keywords where I'm specifically asking questions around that, right? You've got some good reviews. It would be great if some of these keywords had that. Also providing some updates would be very valuable. And now I've got really some, really good things on this analysis on how I can use, the Google Keyword Planner, right? Which was again in the tools and settings and Keyword Planner, plugging in the different keywords and getting the volumes and forecasts, going into my spreadsheet, building out tabs, analyzing the monthly searches with the competition, seeing what the low page is going to be from the high page, eventually developing those primary keywords, putting them into this nice document, and then kind of filling it in with, all right, what other related things are there that are coming up? What autofill searches are coming up? What are my competitors' ads already running? Can I use any of these things? Can I see what they're doing? And that should really give me a good strategy moving forward. So I hope this has been helpful for anyone out there that's looking to understand how to better get results for the keywords that they're trying to rank for. And I think this data is very insightful. That, my opinion about your advertising campaigns is that you really should spend the time to research from the data and look at the numbers before you just start paying money in advertising and hoping that you're going to rank. And also, it's really important to understand what consumers are searching for, right? We might think in our head that people are actually searching for coffee cafe, whereas we just saw, 1,900 people every month are searching for coffee shops. So with that, I'll leave you on that note. I hope this has been helpful for you, Single Speed Coffee Cafe, with Linda, as well as anyone else that sees this video. And until the next video, guys, to infinity and beyond. Take care. Subscribe to our channel if you can. I'd appreciate it. Talk to you later. Bye.